Hello, Nestor.
Travis.
You writing a book?
Actually, I do want to write a book. Yeah. That was a goal that I set at the beginning of the year, was to write a book.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's the main protagonist in it?
I don't know. I had all my topics and everything, and I haven't looked at it since. So,
I know the feeling.
Yeah, but it is a goal of mine. I think everybody should write a book.
All right.
Yes. No desire to write a book?
No, much desire.
Oh, okay. All right. You know what your subject's going to be?
Nope.
Yeah. Definitely in the self-help world, but I feel like I got to help myself some more, so who knows. But anyway, today's topic.
Yes.
This could be a chapter in the book.
Yes.
Automate versus
To
not
automate or to not automate? That'd be the question.
Yeah, and I made a couple of notes. I didn't make too many notes on this, but when I thought about automating versus not automating, text messages, emails, social media, those were some of the things that came to mind for me within our industry. And it was interesting. I had an interview, a new agent came in today and we were talking, and his very first question, what CRM do you use? Why do you use that CRM? And he was just all about the CRMs.
Who was this?
It was a new agent.
Oh.
And he was all about the CRMs. And so
I like it.
I like it too, but I was taken back a little bit, and then I asked him the question, why? Why do you need the CRM right now? Is this something that you need immediately, or what's the long-term goal? What's the short-term goal? What was it that you were looking to get out of the CRM and things of that nature? And one of the things that came up was automation. And so we started talking about, because I knew we were talking about this today, why automate? And what are some of the reasons to automate and not to automate, and does it always make sense? And then we just kept on going.
I think it's one of the greatest tools out there, and one of the biggest problems out there as well.
I agree. I had conversation last week, Mother's Day. So actually, it wasn't last week. The conversation was on Monday that I was having with one of the agents, and she was talking about that she didn't get something done for Mother's Day because she was trying to create an email blast to go out to everyone. And that she was working on it for so long and she wasn't able to get it work, so it never got out. And then I started asking, why don't you just start with the first person that you wanted to send to and just boom, start sending something out. Why automate in that particular situation? And we were talking about it because I had a conversation with another agent, and that conversation was they didn't send any emails out. They sent text messages, but they just went one by one, and they went through their telephone and scrolled, started the letter A, saw the first person that came to mind and wished them a happy Mother's Day and wrote a little note, and then went to the next one, spent like 30 minutes doing that. And the conversation that I had with them was they were talking about the fact that it turned into so many conversations throughout the day, and the value of the responses that came back and it turning into an oh by the way and other questions about how is so-and-so and how is so-and-so, and it gave them an opportunity to truly have a connection with the people. And it was funny, it was all like, automation versus non-automation, which one has more value under certain circumstances?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm done.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting scenario you present, because the question is, what are you trying to accomplish?
Right.
And if you got a big number of people, I mean, how do I do this? When I think about automation, I think base level. Like there's certain contact that needs to be made, whether it's personal or not.
Right.
That's important in a business. You can automate that.
Correct.
But that can't be everything you do. If you think that's going to be your business, you can't automate the personal touch.
Correct.
So as long as you differentiate those and use both, very powerful.
Which so many people try to do, especially now with AI. We're looking at AI right now, and people are trying to take the artificial intelligence and automatically respond back to people and try to have these conversations. I'm seeing a lot in text messaging. I'm seeing a lot in DM and on social media platforms where you send out a message to somebody on there and they've got an AI system automatically attached to it that it starts to have a conversation with you. And you might get away with it for a second or two, but once you start getting into depth with things, you can see right through that. And I always ask the question, well, what is it that you're really trying to accomplish with that?
Yeah.
So I'm
Are
too
you
busy
that busy?
Right. I'm too busy to get back to you right now, so I got this pretend machine that's going to pretend to be me and have a conversation with you.
Yeah, not a fan.
And, which there's nothing wrong with an auto response, but why can't the auto response be, hey, this is an auto response, and here's some basic information, and I'll get back to you shortly or as soon as I can. And then that way they've been responded to and they know that their message has been seen or has been gotten, that at least it got out, and you have the ability to still be human.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Because some of those, you're just dropping good leads.
Exactly.
I like it automated just to grab the person. Mm-hmm. Hey, how can we help you? Oh, I'm looking at XYZ. Okay, great. Ping,
Right.
Nestor, get in on this conversation immediately.
Right. Assuming that you can at that moment. That's part of the problems with autoresponders. Sometimes it's pinging you when you're not really available, but it's making it seem like you're available.
Yeah.
Like at 4 in the morning.
I don't know about that.
All right. Well, some of the other places I see auto, was talking to Andrea about this, social media. Seeing that big time right now, where people are auto posting or creating batches of content, and then they're falling short on their social media and not feeling like they're getting the engagement that they're looking for.
Yeah. I see this one agent, and man, she just posts a ton, which is great, but it's all just so obviously automated. Real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate. I'm like, where are you in there?
Right,
I don't know who you are. I see all these posts. Matter of fact, there's a lot of posts, but it's missing a personal touch.
Right.
And I think you need that combination. You can't automate a personal touch.
Correct. So, and I don't think there's anything wrong with automating in the social media world, but I agree with you that there's got to be a certain amount of your flavor in there.
Yeah.
So, maybe you're saying...
Forward me another post that someone did and say, oh my God, this hit home with me. I totally get this. Or something,
Right. All right. Again, I'm done. So let's talk a little bit more.
auto marketing. I like how Remax has Photify and how you can go in there.
Okay.
And when you get a listing, it takes the information, throws it into a bunch of media pieces for you, so you can go in there and use them immediately.
Right.
That's awesome automation.
That's a great example of having automation set up for you, because that's a function within our platform on the back end through Remax, but I also see it in a lot of, I do see that function in some of the CRMs now as well, where it's connected to the MLS for you, so when it sees that you've inputted something, it automatically starts to create landing pages or files or something like that for you, or a blanket email or a blast email that can be ready to go out. And I like that part of the automation, but I also take a step back and say, hey, how can I make this more personal? How can I create a little bit more flavor of me or who the agent is behind that in that system? And automation is great if you're truly not going to do anything else. I think of it as it's okay if that's all I'm going to do, from the sense of, because I had no intentions of doing anything else. I'd rather see an automation go out, I guess is what I'm trying to say, rather than nothing going out at all.
I agree.
So,
yeah, I think there's a lack of automated things in this business. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm sending it out, but I don't get anything back, and they're not seeing the value of branding and presence. I think that's what it is. We all think we have this SOI that we keep in such good contact with. The reality is we keep in contact with like 2 to 5% of it, and we do a good job at it, but that's, to the neglect of 95% of your SOI.
Right.
So to have something going out on an automated fashion, at least people are getting something.
well, you've talked about First IO so often, and I think that's one of the most misunderstood apps that's out there, because really what it's doing is it's auto reminding you, contact these people. It's not sending anything out for you, which I think is fantastic. Gives you the opportunity to personalize, but the auto thing that's happening behind that is it's randomly checking the system to see who it thinks who is worthy of or who you should be contacting, and it's just sending you an auto response or an auto notification of, hey, contact these 5 people today, or contact these 10 people, or contact these 7 people. And I think that that's a great example of automation that is very useful, because you have your personal touch, but yet you still have something out there that's giving you that reminder.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a text. You can use something like that for thank you cards or note cards or, just because cards or pop buys, whatever the case may be. Nice.
I like it about the text. I do like that about First, how they focus on that. It's like, look, we're not trying to get complicated here.
Right.
See this person? Say, hey, Nestor, geez, haven't talked to you in a while.
Yep.
How you doing? Period.
Exactly.
And then move on and see if anything comes back.
Right.
I think a lot of people are like, well, I'm not getting responses to my text. That's okay. There's a lot of value in a text that goes out that doesn't get responded to, or a voicemail message. They're getting them.
Correct.
They may be busy, they may be distracted, but again, we're in a contact sport here in real estate, and that's what you got to do.
If you're not getting responses to a text message that's going out, you didn't send enough text messages out. True?
Yeah.
You send 10 text messages out and no one responds back to you, we need to have a chat.
Yeah, what are you sending out?
Yeah, we need to have a chat, because if you just send 10 text messages out right now, heck, I'll challenge you. If you send 10 text messages out right now before we finish this, I'm going to guess that at least 4 to 5 of those people will respond back before we're done. And if your message is simple, hey, it's been forever, I'm just saying hello, or I thought about you today and just wanted to say hello, guarantee you that more than half of those people will respond back before we get done.
I would agree.
And what happens with the rest of them? They'll catch up with you a day later, or maybe 2 or 3 hours later. Or you'll be at home tonight and all of a sudden a message comes back. Hey, I missed your message earlier. It was nice to hear from you, blah, blah, blah. And they start having a conversation. That's the beauty of doing things on a regular basis, where things start to pop when we don't expect them.
Yes, exactly. And that's why it's hard to connect them, right?
Right.
Something happens and it's hard to go back and say, what did that? But what I can tell you is if you're out there making contact, you're going to get the response at some point. Even if you can't measure and go back exactly to what spawned that action.
Even if it's hate mail. If it's
You're right.
Yeah.
As my dad used to say. Agents would come to, oh my God, this person told me never to come in the farm again. They don't ever want to see my marketing materials again. And he would just reach out and shake their hand and say, congratulations, you're finally being effective in your farm.
Exactly.
Don't let one bad apple ruin the whole bunch.
Yeah, and I laugh because I can think of a handful of situations where somebody said, please stop or please don't. And when they were in the market to do something, reached out to that very same agent.
Yep, exactly.
So
it does happen.
Yeah.
That don't give up.
That happens more often than people think. Or hey, I wanted more information about this. You said remove you from the list, but so, yeah, you'd be surprised. That's a different subject, but.
Yeah. This isn't 100% automated, but kind of, and you know me and the whole checklist and systems and things. I think those are a bit of automation.
Yep.
And there's even tools now that you can say, hey, I'm starting this listing, just went into escrow, and it populates all the set up tasks that you have for that transaction.
There's one that's connected with Folio. Am I remembering that right?
I don't know, but Booge has it under the task plans.
Booge has it under the task plans. I know there's I think it's Folio, which connects straight to your email, and that one's crazy. It recognizes when you have an email that's associated with a property address, and it'll send you a message, and it'll say, it looks like you're about to start this, and it'll open up the task of which direction, who are you, listing agent, buyer's agent, blah,
Sounds
blah, blah.
familiar.
And it will start walking you through the process of what you need. So that's automation, and I think that's good automation. That's something that should be adjusted and personalized for you, but you're right, having your systems in place. I'm holding an open house this weekend. What's my system in place to make sure that's automated so I don't have to keep thinking about it over and over again?
I mean, I know we've all done it. How many times have we all done it where it's like, oh my God, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that with all my listings. You get a new listing, you do it, it's fantastic, and then you never do it
Never
again.
do it again. Yep.
It's like, well, wait a minute. Put that on your system. Make sure you're doing it.
Exactly.
You can always adjust them. That's the thing. These things are living documents, and people say, "Well, I don't know. I don't need to do that in this one." Awesome. Cross it off. Matter of fact, when you open an escrow, you populate your tasks and go through it immediately. Oh, I'm missing something. This one, I need to put this in here. I don't need this. I don't need this. Okay.
That is my favorite thing when I figure out, oh, I missed that, I missed that, I missed that, and I missed that, and I always say I got to go back to that automation of having that list. And it happened yesterday. Michelle asked me, hey, you're going to be out. Can you do me a favor? Can you pick up this key from this person for a listing that's about to get ready to come on the market? I said, sure. I pick up the key. The system says, take the key and put a tag on it so you know what
exactly, right?
belongs to.
I'm telling you, every facet of your business, then you got to remember to go look at it. When I'm going to pick up a key, I don't need a system for a key.
Exactly.
But if you go look at that system, you'll be like, oh, right. Better grab that tag before I leave.
So, don't need it. Got back in the car. Threw the key in the cup holder.
Oh, no.
Drove down the street, and no systems are in place. And then later on, I get a phone call. Oh, by the way, need to take out the trash. Trash day is tomorrow. Can you go back to the property? I said, sure. I'll go back on my way home and take the trash cans out. Well, she had switched cars with me, so I drove all the way to the property. Didn't have the key because it was in the other car. And I was all like, well, that was another mess up on the system. Drove back, took the key out of the cup holder, drove back. There was more than one key in there with no label. I was sitting there, I was all like, ah! And that was an example of, because I didn't follow the system and didn't do what's supposed to be done automatically and have that plan in place, how much time was lost.
Gas.
This was like 5:30, 6 o'clock in Irvine from one side of town to the other. So, you're talking like an hour and a half of time when it's all said and done by the going back and forth, when something that could have taken 10, 15 minutes ended up taking, hour plus. So have the systems, which is another conversation, but also using them and making sure that automation is in place. So, other examples.
Oh boy. How about when and when not to, As a new agent, you should have some.
Yes.
But you should be the front person.
Yes.
I'd say as soon as you're real busy, you probably have a lot more automations and systems in your business, and you're just hitting the highlights.
Mm-hmm. What about depending on automation a little bit too much sometimes? There's automation. You go show a property, and boom, the autoresponder comes to you from the auto email of, hey, give me some feedback, Travis, on the property at 123 ABC Street. Versus me taking the time to call you or text you or send you an actual real message of, hey, Travis, thanks for showing 123 ABC Street. Would love some feedback. And
I would respond differently.
Right? That is a completely different thing. And sometimes we look at automation, we say, well, I did it, but because it may not have fit the circumstances or the situation, or because so many people are doing it. That's an example that I use because a lot of people do that. So what happens, you go show property, and now your inbox is full of emails from all these different properties, feedback, and you don't want to go through and deal with that, versus the one agent that does give you a phone call or does do something and reach out to you personally and say, hey, just reaching out. Wanted to make sure the showing went okay at such and such at 123 ABC Street. You didn't have any trouble. If there's any questions, I can answer for you. And by the way, what were your thoughts?
Yep.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Different level.
I mean, Depends on how important that is to you.
Correct. Sometimes it has to be automated, but sometimes it doesn't.
I have a feeling like a lot of these automations, those people don't even know they're happening, and they're never going to go look at them anyways.
Correct.
That may not be the truth, but it affects how I'll react to them.
Right. All right.
Delete.
Block on most of them. And most of them end up in spam now, but.
So you want to be effective in geographical farming.
Yes.
So you put something out every other week, you mail one week, and you have some guy deliver it for you the next week, and you do it for 3 months, and you're like, geez, I don't know about this farming. I'm not really seeing much. What's going on? Versus you've got someone who goes out there personally twice a month or every other week, hand delivers it, sees what's going on, talks to people, people see them, and they get a lease out of it and a lead for a lead listing down the line. Big difference, right, between
It's a huge
all
difference.
automated and no automated.
If I had to put a number on automation in the geographic farm area, I would say it's probably slowing down your progress.
Oh, I like that, slowing down your progress.
I'm going to say by 9 to 18 months.
Yeah, could be.
That if you truly went in, all automated, boom, zero presence out there, everything is system orientated where it's just happening and you are not being present or showing up in that farm physically, I think it's going to stunt your growth by at least 6 months.
Certainly getting started and
Right.
building your recognition in that farm, which is going to be years. But you do get to a point where you can back off on that and you go
Correct.
much higher automation. But boy, you have to put in the work ahead of time.
How many times have you heard somebody say, I saw you there when you weren't looking to be seen there, or, they recognize your car. They recognize when you're walking in the community, whether you're walking your pets or you're walking with your family or whether you're driving through the community. It's crazy how much people pay attention to that and recognize you and connect that.
Yep.
So,
I always use that example. Why do you think we called you, Travis? I don't know. Because we see you out there working so hard. And I'm like, I've never seen you in my life.
right?
Obviously, you've seen me.
Right? Exactly. So, all right.
Yeah.
That was all I had for today.
I think so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's imperative that you have automated things in your business. And I think a lot of it comes to marketing because we will fall down. We will be busy. We will be absent. And in a minimum, to have that automated marketing going out is so important.
Correct.
Now, this is a high-touch business, so it can't be all automated. And you need to have that plan on top where
Exactly.
you're rotating through your people, making sure you're touching base with everybody. But for when you fall short or when someone's just elusive, you're calling, you're texting, you're not harassing, you're doing it on your schedule, but they're just not there because it's going to happen. To have that automated marketing going,
Yep.
you know they're seeing it. There's Nestor again. There's Nestor. That's all they have to say.
Yep. Exactly. So, I guess I would close with understand its purpose.
Yeah. Great way of putting it.
It's an impression that is happening on the subconscious, whatever the case may be, whether they're conscious, subconscious about it. It's an impression that was made. Sometimes they may act on it. Most of the time they won't, but it makes when we do connect face-to-face or we do connect personally, a whole lot easier and a whole lot more inviting.
And then within your business, it just makes you more efficient. It leverages everything you do to the highest degree with systems and automations of those systems. So you got to keep those in mind.
Before we close off, so I'll ask this question. I want to bring automation into my business, but I want to be unique or I want to be different. I have the answer in my mind of where I would make a recommendation, but what would you recommend to an agent right now of, hey, I'm putting automation into my business, but I want automation that is maybe different or...
I'd love to hear yours.
Well, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago in the voice broadcasting.
Oh, I gotcha.
You can create automation in that, and that's not really being done in our industry.
Yeah.
And if that would be a tool that I see can be used that would bring benefit, is a little bit unique in the sense that it's not really being done by a lot of people in our industry, that I could see some value coming.
What's funny is I think that is of so much value right now because so many people think that's antiquated in a way. Right? It's a telephone call.
Right.
But I think that it's probably very effective. Whereas if you did that, 10 years ago, I'm not sure it would have been as effective.
Correct.
It's like hard to explain, but it's It's an interesting concept.
Makes sense. All right.
Hey,
So-
I don't have a response to that. I mean, a moment to think about it. I'm sure there's something. But I like that one. How's that?
That'll work. So, subscribe, like, push the button.
I'm not sure which way to point.
I have no idea. There's something about a bell, too. We're supposed to tell them to hit the bell, too, for notifications. Pretty sure that's it. That's my call to action. So please. And if you like what you guys are hearing, we'd love to hear from you.